All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're talking about what might just be the biggest leap forward in AI since the chatbot. We're going beyond AI that just talks to an AI that actually acts.
So let's kick things off with this question. I mean, we've all gotten pretty used to asking AI for stuff, right? To brainstorm, to summarize, to find information. But what if you could give it a really complex goal and it could just, go and do it for you? And this really gets to the heart of the shift we're talking about. Over on the left, you've got the AI we all know, the AI that talks. Think ChatGPT. They're amazing conversationalists. But on the right, that's where things get interesting. That's the AI that does. And this isn't just some small update, it's a whole new ballgame built on autonomous action. Now, this new category is all built around a concept called an AI agent. And trust me, this is a term you're going to be hearing a lot more of. So let's break down what it actually means and why it is such a massive game changer. This is the absolute perfect way to think about it. A chatbot is like asking a librarian where to find a book. It's a single question, you get a single answer. An agent, though, that's like handing a whole research project to a new intern. You don't tell them every single key to press. You just give them the goal, the resources, and you trust them to figure out the steps to get it done. So let's put a slightly more formal definition on it. This agentic AI has 3 superpowers. First, it can understand a big, high-level goal. Second, it can actually create a multi-step plan to get there. And third, and this is the magic part, it can use tools all by itself, things like your calendar, your email, or other software, to execute that plan from start to finish. Okay, that all sounds great in theory, but what's really going on under the hood, right? How does an agent go from a simple prompt like plan my business trip to a fully completed itinerary with flights and hotels all booked? Well, it basically follows a logical loop. So first, it deconstructs the goal. It takes a big request, like onboard our new hire, and breaks it down into smaller pieces. Next, it formulates a plan. Okay, first, I need to schedule orientation meetings. Then, I need to enroll them in training. After that, I'll send the welcome email. Then it figures out the right tools for the job, the calendar app, the HR system, the email client, and finally, it just goes and executes those tasks, checking its own work as it goes. This level of automation, it sounds incredibly powerful, almost like something out of science fiction. And you're probably thinking, this is just for elite developers at the big tech companies, right? But what if you could build one for yourself, for your specific needs, without having to write a ton of code? And this is where all that theory becomes reality for a lot more of us. Let's talk about a tool that's designed to do exactly that, Microsoft's Copilot Studio. Think of Copilot Studio as the workshop where you get to build your very own digital interns. It's what's called a low-code platform, which means you get all the building blocks to create your own custom AI agents. Microsoft calls them copilots, and you can train them to do very specific, multi-step jobs that are totally unique to your business. All right, to make this feel a bit more real, let's walk through how you'd actually go about building one of these agents from scratch. So for our project, let's build an agent to handle one of the most classic, time-sucking HR tasks there is, onboarding a new employee. It's the perfect job to delegate, honestly, because it's got a bunch of repeatable steps and it touches a whole lot of different systems. At its core, it really just boils down to these 3 things. First, you've got to define its purpose, its ultimate goal. Second, you have to give it secure permission to use the software tools it needs to do its job. And third, you need to give it the general instructions, the business logic it needs to follow. And here's what that actually looks like. The goal is super simple: onboard Jane Doe. For the tools, you give it the keys, so to speak: access to the company calendar to find open slots, a hook into the HR software to get employee data, and credentials for the email service. And the instructions, well, that's your business's special sauce. Use this template for the welcome email, or make sure all meetings are scheduled within the first week. The agent takes all of that and just connects the dots all on its own. Okay, so let's zoom out for a second. What does all this add up to? Why is this so much more than just another fancy productivity tool? Well, it's because this represents a fundamental change in how we get work done with technology. This table just nails the difference. In a traditional workflow, a person is in the driver's seat, clicking through every single manual step. The focus is all on executing a process. But in an agentic workflow, the AI is the one driving. The focus completely shifts from the process to the outcome. You're not the pilot anymore. You're the air traffic controller, directing a whole fleet of agents to get to their destinations. We're not talking about just a little bump in productivity here, like saving a few minutes. For the right kind of complex digital work, this is about an order of magnitude leap, a 10x improvement. It's not just about doing the same work faster, it's about unlocking the ability to take on projects that were just too complicated or too time consuming to even think about before. It literally changes the scope of what's possible.
So if you only remember 3 things from all this, make it these. Number 1, AI is making the huge leap from just talking to actually doing. Number 2, tools like Copilot Studio are making this power accessible to everyone, not just coders in a lab. And number 3, this is absolutely going to change how we think about work, delegation, and productivity itself.
And that really leaves us with one final and pretty crucial question. This technology is coming, and it's coming fast. The challenge for us is shifting from being people who just use tools to people who manage outcomes. It's a whole new mindset. We're moving from being the doers to being the managers of a brand new kind of digital workforce. The real question is, are we ready for that shift?